listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, so small group today. I wonder if more people are going to arrive briefly. Today we will be continuing with KSP. Oh, I already have someone else kind of joining us now. So before we get back into KSP, I just want to ensure, if anyone is here that does not have the game, go ahead and raise their hand. All right, good. So again, if you do not have the game, send me a message. If you haven't had it downloaded yet, that's okay. I can work with you to make sure that you get it. Okay, and then out of everyone here, raise your hand if you do not have this rocket built. Okay, that's definitely fine. Great. So we'll spend some time doing that as well. Okay, so kind of how today's class is going to go. And so it's going to be pretty at your own pace. Ooh, someone sent me a question. Interesting, Kimmy. I'm not sure why that would be. I might try turning down your resolution or your graphics, seeing if that's the problem. I have not encountered that before, but I'm wondering if your computer's having trouble processing the game. So again, that's just in preferences. I know you have that okay dot dot dot. I'm honestly, you can try re-downloading it. It is a demo, so there kind of can be some bugs, but that doesn't necessarily make sense why it would just start up with just a right screen. All right, great. Okay. So today we'll be kind of go at your own pace. I know some people need to build this and some people already have. So first we're going to quickly just overview again some of the basics. Right, we're going to be working in the vehicle assembly building where we build rockets, and we're building that rocket designed by Senshi to get us to space. We want to be really sure to use this angular snap to have it toggled on, and we can use the center of mass and center of thrust when you're modifying your rocket to make sure you want that center of mass in the bottom third of your rocket close to that center of thrust, which should be at the bottom. You can rotate pieces, and the symmetry mode is really key. We have our payload, and just to make sure we all know kind of how these parts work. First of all, we have a payload, and then we have our launch vehicle. And let's bring up that. So at the top, we have this parachute that's designed for the descent. Our payload are these pieces here above this decoupler. And it's the command pod where our crew will be. Fuel for our RCS thrusters, which are surrounding the command pod and the SAS module. And then that SAS module for stability. And that's what makes up the payload. Down here is our launch vehicle, what's designed to get our payload into space. It's made up of our fuel tank, and that what's separating the fuel tank and the payload is this decoupler. We have 3 more decouplers on the fuel tank. And below the fuel tank is a liquid fuel engine. 3 solid fuel engines are attached to the fuel tank by decouplers themselves. And we talked about staging as well. And staging has to do with those decouplers. It's whenever the rocket goes through kind of that physical change, starting with stage 3 and moving to stage 0. All right. So what we're going to be doing today, kind of in the orders of importance, since you guys all have the game downloaded, that's perfect. So that's kind of item number 1. Make sure everyone has the game downloaded, and that's great. And then it's going to kind of go, I want everyone to start by doing this training, and it's under the training tab, and there are going to be 2 trainings that you guys can start today. I want everyone to start and finish flight basics, and then if we have time at the end, you can go into orbiting, and orbiting is much more challenging. It's really important that you master flight basics before moving into orbiting. So when you go through flight basics, they're going to be introducing you to all of these terms and how you control them with the keys. Kind of halfway through class, once everyone has made it through this training, I'm going to be asking you guys a series of questions based off of these to make sure you are paying attention as you go through the tutorial. Don't just rush through it to try to get to the flying, because you honestly won't be able to. It's pretty tricky. So pay close attention there. Once you've finished this flight basics tutorial, you kind of have 2 or 3 options. If you haven't built the rocket, go ahead and build the rocket here. I'll have this image up. If you have already built the rocket, go ahead and test out what you learned in the flight basics training with this rocket. And then kind of once you have built the rocket and you have tested it out, you can try modifying it, or you can go into the Orbit 101 training. All right, does anyone have any questions on kind of what we'll be doing today? No? Okay, great. So we go into KSP, open that demo. Kimmy, let me know if you don't have access to it. Sorry that is becoming a problem for you. That's a little bit kind of why we're going at our own pace with this, because some people were having trouble. It was like working really choppily. Oh, great, it's working now. Oh, perfect. I'm glad. Start game, and then into these training, right? Training, and everyone's going to do flight basics, and that's what I want you guys to work on now. If you finish flight basics, go ahead and send me a message just so I know that you finished it, because once everyone has finished it, then we're going to go into that. I have kind of like a little assessment or a quiz that I made just to make sure that you guys fully understand how the controls are, and also kind of just to double check to make sure you guys aren't just rushing through, clicking through, because I know I've definitely been there. All right, so just send me a message after you finish this flight basics tutorial. And then once you've finished, you can either work on that rocket, and I'm going to leave this image up. Yeah, you can work on this rocket, you can fly this rocket, or you can start, after you've completed those, you can start the Orbit 101. All right, so go ahead and get started. I'm going to be here. I'm not necessarily going to be talking, but I'm definitely here if you have any questions, if you can't get something to work. I'm going to check in on you guys every few minutes and just call on you guys, make sure everything's going okay. All right, go ahead and get started. Great. Okay, Wyatt, I see you just got here. Other guys, go ahead, keep going with the tutorial. But Wyatt, what we're doing right now, I'll let you kind of fully arrive. We are going through a series of things today. Wyatt, can you raise your hand just so I know that you hear me? Great. Okay. Let me put your hand down. Wyatt, will you actually, I'm just going to unmute you just so I can talk to you for a moment, other than kind of ask you a series of questions. Hey, Wyatt, how you doing?
Good.
Great. Okay, so have you downloaded KSP?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And have you built this rocket?
I have not built that quite yet.
Okay, no problem. So that's kind of okay. I'm gonna mute you for a second just because I was getting feedback there. But uh, kind of that's why we're moving at our own pace today because just different people are at different spots, and it's gonna take you guys a different time to finish these things. Kind of start the game up, and what you're gonna do after you click start game, go into these trainings here, and I want what everyone's doing first is running through this uh, flight basics training. And then after that point, after you finish that, I want you to go ahead and build this rocket. Um, Let me know if you have any trouble building it. I know we built it in the lesson from Monday. If you missed that, you can let me know. I can kind of do a demonstration, but pretty much you're just pulling the pieces using symmetry mode. If it says times 2 or times 3, you're going to want to make sure symmetry mode is on. And you're just kind of finding the pieces and pulling them and putting them together. Okay, so once you finish the training, you can work on that. And then after that point, you can go back and do the Orbiting 101 training after you've practiced launching and flying this rocket as well. And so Wyatt, whenever you finish, just go ahead and send me a message just so I know. I'll be here if you have any questions, if you get stuck or if you get confused on what you're supposed to be doing right now. But I'm not going to be talking the whole lesson. Oh, great. James, already finished. Excellent. Good work. Oh, great. Kimmy, excellent. You are finished as well. Everyone, do take your time with the tutorial, but please remember to let me know when you're finished. And thanks, James and Kimmy, for doing that. Go ahead, get started, try it out with, I think at the end of the tutorial, it asks you to try it out with that rocket that you've been kind of working with. I don't know if you've done that yet, but definitely try that. Work around with that, and then try it with this rocket here. First build this rocket, and then go into orbiting. All right, again, Brian, Mark, and Wyatt. This is not me rushing you, but just a reminder to let me know when you're finished. And to everyone, again, I am here if you guys are having any questions or need help. Oh, great. Mark, you're done with the training. All right, if in the next minute, we're going to kind of do that assessment just to break up. Oh, Brian has a question. Hey, Brian, what's your question? Hey, Brian, do you have a question?
No, I finished.
Oh, okay, great. Perfect timing. Wyatt, I know you got here a little late, um, so I'll give you just another minute to kind of get to a stopping point, and then we're just going to kind of go through some of the terms that we learned so I can test how well it went. All right. So Wyatt, hopefully you found a little bit of a stopping point. If everyone could come back to the presentation, see that you guys have all clicked away from GoToWebinar. Great, thanks Kimmy and Mark and Wyatt. Trading for James and Brian. Excellent. So let's start to go through some of these questions. First question, this one should be a low ball here. How are you enjoying the Space Center? All right, waiting for one more vote. Okay, great. Seems to be really positive. Excellent. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. All right. So let's go into kind of more of the controls. So what is this angle describing? What motion of the rocket? And you can guess. If you can't remember the answer, that's okay. Just take a guess. I am going to wait for 100% of people to vote before I show the answers. So the longer it takes you guys, the more time you're spending away from the game. So only 60% have voted. Mark and Brian, I can tell that you may have clicked back away from the presentation. So please make sure you guys are back at the presentation and taking time to vote. All right, I know 4 of you voted. As painful as this is, we're just gonna wait until we get 100%. I got it just a minute ago, so I know I can get it again. It's okay if you don't know the answer. It's not okay if you just kind of sit and let people. Great. So you guys are right. The majority of you guys got that one. That was pitch. So pitch is kind of that first movement that we see from a rocket. And it's angle of the nose in relation to the origin. And then we also learned about yaw. But when you're trying to rotate your ship around the vertical axis, which controls should you be using? So we know that pitch is controlled with W and S, but what about yaw? Which controls do those use? Okay, I got 60% voted. 80, you guys are moving much faster this time, and I appreciate it. Sure you do too. Great, you guys are on this. Answers are sharp. A and D, perfect. And roll, the last one, which is controlled by Q and E. Which motion does this describe? Make sure you read all of the answers. One more vote. Wow, very split this time. The answer is actually all of the above. So this one's kind of a tricky question. It may not have been the best worded choices down below, but I think for at least my middle school classes, kind of longitudinal axis was uh, not visual enough. And so left or right, and also front to back, leaning left or right on that front to back axis were also other ways we can think about it. So the answer was all of the above. So that's kind of the pitch, yaw, and roll, controlled by those gaming keys up there, WASD, and then that Q and E. What about throttle? So we use throttle with shift and control, but there is one kind of engine that we can't affect. I will go ahead and say I made up one of those engines, and so that's not the correct answer. Okay, misspelled effect there as well. You guys are rocking these questions. Excellent. Exactly right. It's the solid fuel engine. All right. When we use that RCS, reaction control system. So in for 2 votes. One more. Okay. Yeah, so out in space is actually the correct answer there. The RCS, they you can kind of control them in all directions, but they don't create a lot of thrust, so you want to take them out where there is not as strong of a gravity force. Here's the last question. Two more votes here. One more. Who's really split? This final vote is going to decide it. Anna actually did in the correct vote. It's false. So staging moves from the last to the zeroth. Zeroth is always going to be the last stage. Generally, it's the parachute stage. All right. So that's great. You guys got a lot out of Monday in that tutorial. So again, if you guys have built the rocket and practice more of your flight basics techniques, it's really important to understand kind of how to use those WASD keys and how to activate your SAS module for stability. Because orbiting is a much bigger challenge than just launching. But if you feel confident about it, go ahead and start orbiting 101. It's a good challenge, and it's definitely where it starts to get more interesting. And you can also modify this rocket as well. Go ahead and raise your hand too if you are confused on how to build this rocket. Or if you didn't see Monday's webinar, this might not make as much sense to you. We kind of used this as a guide on Monday. But if you need any help in construction of this rocket, please let me know. Or if you're confused at all, kind of what the next steps are. But now that you guys have kind of finished that tutorial, Wyatt, I don't know if you got a chance to finish it, but definitely finish it now. You can either just practice and modify on your rocket or move to orbiting. But go ahead and you guys can start that. And send me if you have any questions or you need any help. That's just kind of what we're going to be doing for the rest of class today, just everyone moving at their own pace. If you build your rocket though and you get it to launch successfully, go ahead and let me know or give me updates on how you're doing. I'm very interested to see kind of how people are coming along with the game. I'll be kind of checking in on you guys towards the end of class on each of you to see kind of where you got to today. Alright, I'm just going to be checking in with you guys just to see how you are doing. Wyatt, how are you doing? What are you working on now?
I'm doing good. I finished the tutorial thing and building the rocket.
Okay. You're building the rocket now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Alright, Mark. Hey, Mark, what are you working on? Hey, Mark.
Hey.
Hey, what are you working on?
In a little bit right.
Ooh, I think.
Hey, what are you working on?
Ooh, I am gonna mute you, Mark. I'm sorry. I think there was strange feedback across our microphones, but good luck. Let me know if you need any help. If you could update me with questions, that'd be great. I just wanted to check in on everyone. Kimmy, I'm gonna unmute you. How are you doing? What are you working on? Kimmy, are you there? Oh, I see you updated me. Sorry about that. I'm trying to build the rocket now. Right. Okay. So I'm trying to build the rocket. Whenever I drag the parts over, it drags the box describing the object. Let me go back through and see. So you shouldn't have to drag it. You just click it once and you're able, it should just be part of your mouse. So if you drag it, nothing should happen, but you should just click it and it should be an option. Let me know if that's work. That's probably what you're doing, but I just wanted to kind of make sure. So, Kimmy, good luck with that. If you try restarting the game, let me know if just clicking it is the problem. Again, if it's just not working well in terms, I know you said changing the settings helped with the white screen. It might just be too much for your computer. I'm not quite sure what kind of computer you're operating with. I'm going to check in with James and Brian and then come back to you. James, how's it going? What are you working on?
I am sorry, my birds are going crazy. I am trying to get my rocket built.
Okay.
So working actually.
Yeah.
Because it's all one stage right now.
Oh. So you've kind of you've been following the guide, but the stages haven't been forming by themselves?
Yeah. The parachute takes off, but the command module doesn't separate.
And do you have that decoupler there?
I do.
That is really strange. Okay. So I think so it does kind of depend on how you put it together. Did you watch the video on Monday or were you here on Monday?
I was.
Okay. So do you remember how we kind of built it payload first? Ending with the parachute and then adding the decoupler, adding all of those engines, and then adding the 3 more decouplers. You want to start kind of with your last stage. So the parachute is what you add first, and what you're adding last are those liquid fuel engines. So the way you construct it does affect the way that the staging is going to occur. Does that make sense?
Actually, I just figured out I didn't have a decoupler.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, well
that's
definitely
why.
gonna do it. All right, good luck. Let me check in with Brian.
Okay,
And Kimmy said a lot of lag. Okay, good luck, Kimmy. Brian, how's it going?
Okay.
Yeah. Are you working on constructing as well?
Well, I can't find my Kerbal Space Program. I think it got deleted somehow.
Oh no. Okay.
Like
Well,
I watched the demo earlier, but then I can't find it again. So I'm re-downloading it.
oh okay. Good luck, Brian. Sorry about that. That's been frustrating. All right, and I think Kimmy's coming back. Okay, Kimmy, I see that you are back. I'm not sure if you hear me because I know there was a lot of lag, but if that could also kind of affect the game. Just if I know GoToWebinar really affects people's computers sometimes. Hold on, let me see if you responded. Yes. Oh, you can hear me. Great. So what I was saying before, you don't drag, you just click it and it should be attached to your mouse. I don't know if that's what you were doing and your computer was upset. Oh, okay, great. It's working now. Perfect. All right, guys, you seem to be in a good place. Let me know if you need any help, but I'll be here. Yeah, I bet it was just the webinar slowing it down. It can be frustrating, especially when there's a bunch of students kind of facing different problems, which is why I kind of made this everyone doing their own thing. Keep exiting out of that picture. Sorry if anyone is following it right now. All right, so we only have 2 minutes left. If anyone has any final questions, please let me know. And I hope you guys enjoy learning to launch these. And I know most of you guys are still working on building the rocket. But orbiting is a big challenge if you guys want to try it out. I know a lot of the students have tried it. In my middle school were not as successful, but I'd love to see if you guys could get it to work. So post on Edmodo any of your successes. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, no problem, Kimmy. I am glad I don't know exactly how helpful I was, but I'm glad the graphics tip worked at least. Once we get off this webinar, you'll probably have a lot more success. All right, guys. Thanks for all your attention, and I probably won't be seeing you guys on Monday, but that'll be Mr. D. But I hope you guys are enjoying the course, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.